Well, good morning, church. Today is February 23rd, and we are in the 23rd chapter of Acts. Where we left off, Paul was falsely accused about bringing Gentiles into the Jewish temple area. We know that this was a lie. And so this is kind of where we find him. He's before the Jewish officials right now, and they are arguing about Paul himself, these things that they are claiming that he has done. And what we see even further is that Paul is a fighter. We see him fighting back. We see him calling a whitewashed wall, which is a way of saying that they're hypocrites. We see him bringing up passages from the Old Testament just to kind of stoke the fire a little bit, to kind of argue a little bit. And he even takes it further. And it says that at one point he notices that the room is made up of Pharisees and Sadducees. And these were two groups of Jews, Jewish leaders. Both of them, to kind of talk about the difference between them, both of them would have denied the fact that Jesus was resurrected, but the Pharisees would not have denied resurrection as a general reality. They would have believed in things such as spirits and angels and then resurrection of the dead, whereas the Sadducees didn't. They didn't believe in really any of the spiritual things. They would have agreed about the law like the Pharisees would have, but they didn't really believe in any of the spiritual side. And so here we see Paul notice that one side of the room is this, one side of the room is something else. And so he's like, I can make this interesting. So he makes a claim saying that he is a Pharisee and his father's a Pharisee. He comes from a line of Pharisees. And then, boom, this argument breaks out. And the Roman tribune, who would have been a military official, sees this. And just to kind of prevent Paul being hurt just in the midst of this huge argument, he takes Paul away and imprisons him somewhere else away from these Jewish officials. And so during that imprisonment, it says that he was standing with the Lord. The Lord came and stood by him. And it says that Jesus actually, if you have a red letter Bible, these letters will be in red, but it says, "Take courage, for as you have testified to the facts about me in Jerusalem, so you must testify also in Rome." So Jesus is saying, Paul, you're not done. And Paul recognizes that, and so he is here waiting for this mission to continue. And during this time, we have a group of zealous Jews who are plotting to kill Paul. And while they are coming up with this idea that they want to take the trial a little bit further, and during that time they will spring out and kill Paul. Actually, Paul's sister's son, we don't know a ton about Paul's family. We know that some of them, because of this, were in Jerusalem. But his nephew discovers this plot and goes to the Roman tribune to say, hey, this is what's going to happen. They're going to come try and get you to transport Paul back to this area, and during that time, they're going to ambush and kill Paul, so please don't do that. And in order to avoid this, because Paul is a Roman citizen, that's a big deal, and so for this tribune to protect that, he has an arrangement made to have some centurions take Paul by night to the governor, Felix, to be tried in front of the governor, as a Roman citizen would have. We know from previous chapters that Paul didn't buy his citizenship, but was actually born a Roman citizen, and so he deserved to be tried as a Roman citizen. And so that's where we leave off here. We end the chapter 23 with Paul before the governor. The governor is reading the letter from the tribune of what is happening, and we have another cliffhanger where it says that we are waiting for your accusers. And so that's what we're doing right now. We are waiting for this trial for Paul, and we'll continue with that in the following chapters. So that's a little bit about chapter 23. I'm excited about moving on to chapter 24 with you tomorrow. As we continue to pray as a church, today we are praying for our small groups. The leaders, we are praying for our leaders of those small groups as they continue to teach week after week. But then also just for the group itself, your small groups that you find yourselves in as they continue to grow, that they would be places of learning and growth, and then even outreach within those small groups as well. So that is what we are praying for today. I hope you learned something from chapter 23, and I look forward to moving on with you all into chapter 24 tomorrow. Have a great day.